Hello, my name is JJ Kabay, and I will be interviewing Mr. Thomas C. Dean III today. Mr. Thomas, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, JJ. How are you?
Good. So, can you tell us about where we are right now?
Well, you are at the Grand Boutique Showroom, Premier Flooring Group's retail location in Conyers, Georgia.
How did you become the owner of Premier Flooring?
Well, I guess it was just time. I started off with working as a sales professional and sales manager, then maybe later general manager of flooring companies from Louisiana to Georgia. And then it just came a time where it was time for me to have my own operation after managing many different operations for other store owners.
Tell me about your childhood.
Wow, my childhood. So I grew up in the downtown neighborhoods of the inner city of New Orleans, Louisiana. Was raised in a big family. My mother was the second to the oldest of 7 children. So I had many aunts and one uncle, and I hung out with my grandparents at their home as a young boy. Before there was a big nursery school activity, you stayed with your grandparents while your mother worked. So I grew up in the house with my grandparents and all of my aunts. My youngest aunt was just a few years older than me, so I kind of was like the 8th child in the household. My mother had her own apartment across town, but in most cases I spent at my grandparents' house and grew up there, went to elementary school, middle school, and then high school at John F. Kennedy Senior High School. Played football in high school, and I was a part of student government, student council in junior high school. I was class president in student government organization in high school. I was also in speech and oral clubs, just always kind of involved. I played football all the way up until my 11th grade year.
Tell me about how you came from being in New Orleans to being in Conyers.
That's an interesting story. Good question, JJ. I moved here as a result of the Hurricane Katrina tragedy. Hurricane Katrina hit when me and my family was living in New Orleans. I actually owned a flooring store in New Orleans when Hurricane Katrina hit, as well as small dry cleaners. We evacuated, originally went to Texas, stayed there for a number of weeks, and then decided that we were going to come to the Atlanta area because my wife had an opportunity to transfer her job to continue working if we moved to Atlanta during the evacuation. I was self-employed, working in Premier Flooring in New Orleans, our store there, and then we all moved here to Atlanta area. Originally, we landed in Lithonia and then moved to Conyers, Georgia, and we've been in Conyers now for about 15 years. It's been a great experience for us, but when we moved here, it was a part of probably one of the most horrible floods of all time, Hurricane Katrina. But God does everything for a reason, so it's been a good experience.
Tell me more about your school experience.
Well, my school experience. I guess when I was in school, everything was a little bit competitive. Whether it was athletics, extracurriculum, or academics, we always had these healthy competitions of wanting to be the best. You know, I wanted to be known as one of the smart guys because, quite frankly, the girls liked the smart guys when I was in school. It was always a big deal to be well presented in school when I was in school. You know, guys cared about how they dressed and they got a haircut every week and they carried themselves well because, quite frankly, in that adolescent years, you just was winning the admiration of the pretty girls in your class. But it was a positive motivation because the competition was to be captain of the football team. And I was captain of my football team in junior high school, to be the one that was looked upon as the good student because we had study groups. And who was in the study groups was the girls. Well, they didn't want to be in the study groups with guys that wasn't serious about making good grades. So for me, I was always motivated to be the best because it was competition, and then to be able to stand out as doing something positive opposed to doing something negative. You know, there's a lot of guys that, you know, they work towards being popular for getting in trouble. But me and my friends, we had a kind of different twist on it. we were still popular guys, but we were being popular from making good grades and being in athletics and performing well, just kind of things like that.
Tell me about your volunteering with Conyers.
Volunteering is a big deal for me. Because I grew up in the inner city of New Orleans, I didn't come through the private school sector. I went to public school. There was always someone that came to our school, spoke to us, encouraged us, and that made a good impact on me because I was able to see what I could become by seeing successful people in our community coming to speak to us and share information with us. So now I volunteer with the community. I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce. I'm one of the ambassadors. I'm also an ambassador with Rockdale County. I help the chairman, Oz Nesbitt, in many different things. I always donate to senior citizen organizations. I donate to school organizations, and then I participate in different types of, whether it's mentoring or just showing up so that people in the school system, like yourself, young men, could see men in the community that are entrepreneurs, that made some good decisions and show that there's an opportunity for you to do well. If you don't see success and what success looks like, it's not easy to envision what you can accomplish in your future. So that's why I volunteer a lot, spend a lot of time, and try to help where I can.
Tell me about Team Oz and Monster Dash.
Well, Team Oz is a pretty strong organization. Team Oz started off as a campaign group to help our commissioner to gain office when he was running for. Once he was post one commissioner, now he's the chairman, the head commissioner, CEO of the county, and I've been a part of his campaign for many years now. And Monster Dash and many other activities that the chairman puts together are opportunities for people like me in the community to give back, participate, help raise money for the different organizations and schools. And it's unique because our chairman, although he is the political head figure of the community now, he was once a employee of the public school system here in Rockdale County. He worked right at Rockdale High School, and he managed the detention program and was a basketball coach. So he has a passion for children, and he's always coming up with activities for us as a part of Team Oz to do to give back to the children. And the only other thing that he's more passionate or just as passionate about as children is senior citizens. So we help on both ends of that.
Do you have any advice for kids like me?
Advice for kids like you. I guess my advice for a kid like you is there's no limit to what you can accomplish in your life's journey. Don't ever feel that there's any goal you can set for yourself that's too high for you to accomplish it. One thing I learned many years ago from some of the elders that were around me was that there's nothing that can't be accomplished if you set your mind to it, set a goal, and then work towards the goal. Now, it doesn't just happen. You have to put in the work. But if you put in the work, there's no limit. I mean, look at what's going on in America right now. We've got a brand new vice president that is a black woman that graduated from an HBCU, a university at Howard. And, she started with opportunities where she just didn't limit herself. Our past president, Barack Obama, black man that was once a black boy that came from, adverse situations. So I am a small business owner, an entrepreneur that works for myself. And the key is this: whatever you want to accomplish in life, you just have to set a goal and put in the work to work towards what that goal is. And you can accomplish it. This is Premier Flooring. This was my idea of putting together a grand boutique, which is an upscale, well-presented flooring store. That's a little bit different than a typical flooring store that people go into that's dirty and dusty and you don't even want to touch the samples because you don't want to mess yourself up. Well, when ladies come to shop in my store, they're comfortable here because it's neat, it's clean, it's well presented, and things are organized in a way that if you're not an expert of flooring, you can find different things that you might want to look at. And it's not challenging to do that. And what we do here differently than a lot of companies is we offer a special level of customer service and pay attention to the details in helping people to put together their projects at their homes or at their offices. And we care about our customers. So you, as a young man, the future is yours. Set your hopes on what you want to do and how you want to get there, and then put in the work. Whether that work is just going from school to college or going from school to trade school, going from school to the military. I'm an Air Force veteran. I went to the military right after high school. The bottom line is you just have to set your own path, set a goal for yourself, and work towards it and accomplish it. And everything's doable.
Tell me about managing a flooring business.
Managing a flooring business. It's a unique situation. Well, first of all, in any business, you have to have sales. Sales is when you present a product to someone that's interested in doing something and explain to them the process of how it works from when the customer first comes in here. They talk to me about what they have in mind for their home, what type of colors they have in mind, so that we can kind of isolate if they're going to do wood floors, carpet, ceramic tile. We can isolate the style of floor they want and then the color that complements what they already have going on in their home. So we manage the sales process by helping to answer questions that customers have to help them make decisions on what they want in their home. Then once they select, then we try to work a project to where it fits into their budget. Once they agree to buy, then me as a what I call project manager in this flooring store is we arrange to order the materials from a supplier to do their job. And then we schedule an install team. We have 12 different install teams here. All of our install teams specialize. We have some guys that install wood floors, some do granite countertops, some do ceramic tile. Well, based on what that customer likes, we schedule an install team to install their project. And then once the materials are ordered and they come in, then we schedule the installers, pick up the materials from here, schedule with the customer to go out to the home. And then we go out to the home and we install the new floors, whatever they've selected. It's a kind of 4 or 5 step process, but I've been doing it for about 29 years now. So it's kind of like second nature. I don't have to think anymore. It just kind of happens this way. But I had to be good in mathematics. And that was my favorite subject in school, because everyone who wants to do floors are sold by the square foot or the square yard. So when I go to someone's living room and they want new wood floors, I have to take a tape measure the width of the room and the length of the room, multiply those two numbers to determine how many square feet of flooring they need to purchase and we need to install for them. So if I don't pay close enough attention in high school and middle school, when I was in school, to the mathematics lessons I learned, I wouldn't be able to be proficient at the job that I have to do. Also, when I was in high school, I went through public speaking training. I was in a speech and orator class. Well, those things helped me to be comfortable with speaking to small groups or large groups about flooring projects. So a lot of things that you're doing in school right now, you're like, why do they have us doing this? You may not understand now why it's important for you to know these things, but when you get into your career, you'll realize the benefit of how those lessons that you learn in school helps you along.
Do you have any visions or improvements that you think Premier Flooring could use?
Well, I have a huge vision. As we started this store a little under 5 years ago, this location has been great for us. We have lots of customers that come in or call on the phone, reach out to me on the internet. Well, now Premier Flooring is in the midst of looking for a second location. So in the vision of mine, we're planning to open our second location in the area of Buckhead, which is more downtown Atlanta, or Brookhaven, which is another neighborhood adjacent to where Buckhead is. So Premier Flooring Group, Buckhead or Brookhaven, will probably be open by the end of this year. So that's a big part of my vision and growth. And then the long-term goal is to be able to retire. By the time I'm 60, I want to be able to bow out, retire, and pass the keys of the company to my twin sons. I have 2 25-year-old sons. They work in the company. They run one of my install teams now, but they're learning the business inside and out. And my hopes is that by 60, I can retire, turn the company over to them, relax, and take it easy.
Any other thoughts?
Well, I just appreciate you all being interested in speaking with me, because this is my community. You know, I live right around the corner from Hills Academy. My store is 5 minutes away from Hills Academy. And I know that you young men at Hills Academy have bright futures because your principal and the administrators there work really hard for you to learn the life lessons that you need along with the academics. I mean, just you sitting here with that stylish necktie on is impressive to me, because when I was your age, I enjoyed wearing neckties and nice sweaters just as you are. So keep up the good work and just be encouraged that there's no limit to what you can accomplish after Hills Academy, while you're in Hills Academy, and for the rest of your future.
Thank you for having me interview you today, Mr. Thomas C. Dean III.
You're very welcome. I appreciate you all choosing Premier Flooring Group as one of the folks that you all wanted to spend time with.